That is crazy to me that Gen Z and younger millennials have that power to just sell out warehouses worth of like products just because they saw it on TikTok and everyone else is buying it. Like, that's not normal. And everyone keeps normalizing it and everyone keeps defending it, and I don't know why.
Recent videos speaking on the matter of overconsumption have been gaining traction on social media, with content creators endeavoring to depict what overconsumption entails. From critiquing excessive shopping hauls, bulk restock videos, to expensive self-care trends, overconsumption seems to be dominating conversations and discussions, especially on TikTok. But what exactly is overconsumption? Well, in simplest of terms, it refers to the excessive consumption of goods and resources beyond what is necessary or sustainable. Is overconsumption the proper term to refer to this spending habits? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to conspicuous consumption. Conspicuous consumption was a term coined by American economist and sociologist Thorstein Veblen in 1889 in his book titled The Theory of the Leisure Class. So, conspicuous consumption is defined as, and I quote, the act of purchasing and displaying luxury goods or services with the intention of signaling one's wealth or social status. So we're going to tie the two terms together, and I'm going to bring light to the differences in the two terms. So starting with overconsumption. Now, the mindset of overconsumption is that even if you have the funds to afford certain things or certain services, if they are not necessary, you do not need to be spending your money on it. Whereas on the other side of conspicuous consumption, the mindset is that you're not buying things because you need to buy them. You're buying them because you have the capability or the financial ability to be able to afford the goods. And it's also a way of signaling your wealth or your status within society. Now, just as I had mentioned before, it's important to note that conspicuous consumption, according to Thorstein isn't necessarily restricted to one socioeconomic class.
The British royal family. The British royal family have so much wealth, they are more likely to run out of descendants before they run out of money. They own several castles, mansions, and estates, all of which are incredibly decked out, and they just casually live in one of the most famous palaces in the world, filled to the brim with decadence and servants.
So think about it this way. The wealthy have been doing this for years and nobody called it overconsumption. So you have, for example, with millionaires, when they spend money on extremely expensive goods or services, whereas nowadays what we're seeing is conspicuous consumption, and what people are not used to seeing is when it is applied to the middle class. So for example, so think about it this way, like work with me for a second. So for the upper class, they're considered to be the top 1%. You know, the extreme wealthy people within a country, the ones who make up the top 1%. So luxury for them can be seen from a perspective of buying expensive cars, expensive houses, having multiple properties that are not necessarily investment but just for leisure, and that's their form of luxury, their form of conspicuous consumption. See, when rich people buy expensive things, even sometimes expensive unnecessary things, Nobody really called it, the average person didn't call it overconsumption. It's just written off as rich people just being rich. But think about it from somebody who falls under the middle class. So middle class can be subdivided into upper middle class and lower middle class. The sort of luxury and conspicuous consumption can be seen from a perspective of, from a housewife's perspective, of enjoying, because they have a bit of more disposable income, they enjoy buying aesthetic things within the house, buying multiple containers, buying so many, changing the house every season, changing the house decor according to every other season. So that's, it can be seen just as a form of conspicuous consumption. So what do you guys think about the concept of overconsumption and conspicuous consumption? Do you believe that people should just spend money because they have the capability to do so? Or do you think that people should be more mindful of the spending, even regardless of whether they have the financial capability? Well, leave your comments down in the comment section below, and thank you for watching today's video.